Liver King just did his first interview, an actual interview, since going to jail for going after Joe Rogan. This champion streamer went and tracked down Liver King while Liver King was on live and making videos. This guy figured out where Liver King was, went directly to him and did an interview. And what Liver King had to say was, of course, unhinged and weird. We're going to get to that. After that clip, I'm going to show you what Brendan Schaub had to say about the whole thing. And I think for once, the Schaub is actually right. Let's get into it.
And you're welcome to come over. Okay, bro. Absolutely. Come on over. I appreciate you. Saying goodbye to this beautiful. Look at that architecture, brother. What's your name? Benny Mac on kick.com. On which okay. Kick, yeah. Yeah. When you add the .com, that sort of is cheesy. I stopped listening to you because you just plugged the commercial. I would have looked you up if you were value or utility. I'm gonna give you a real quick tip. If you want to plug, what is it again? You're Oh, I'm wearing this shirt. Yeah, well, I'm not going to show. What's the name of it? It's called Kick. Kick? Yeah. .com? Yeah, I just thought I'd identify myself. Correct. You own Kick.com? I'm streaming on Kick. Kick? Oh, you're streaming it. Yeah. Okay. I don't own it. Okay, good. Well, but we'd love to, if you ever need... So that you would seem less promotional, you just say who you are and say, this is who I am, period. Period. I'll take that on board. I appreciate the feedback. This is who I am, period. C-O-M. Period. Different? Yeah. And the same? Yeah. Yeah. I'm saying bye to the Capitol, and then we can walk and talk, and then I'll put my phone. Actually, I might keep my phone. You didn't come in for me, did you? Yeah, we did. Yes, sir. Oh, no way. Nice to meet you, sir. Man. It was good. Okay, good. So we're going to do the deal. Well, what I came here for...
I love how he just gets right into it. Oh, you're here for me. All right, well, here's what we're gonna do. Like as if they're just his camera crew now. He, unhinged as this situation is, he's still very smart when it comes to social media. Now, this whole Rogan thing did not help him in any regard whatsoever. A lot of people think like, this is just what he's doing. And it's like, this is not helping. This is actually very bad. Any brands that were going to work with him are not going to work with him now. So that's just that. But he still is very smart the way he broke all that stuff down just now. And now he actually has them pretty much working for him.
You might not know me. My name is Liver King. I picked a fight. With a man who just recently moved here from California. Joe Rogan? Yeah. Picked a fight with Joe Rogan. I won't look at your camera because I'm looking at you, which is the man. Yeah, I'll look at you. Okay, just so you know. Man. Yes, sir. Okay, so I picked a fight with another man because that other man, he did it first. You did it first, you know. So that other man, he did that thing, and it affected my family. So who am I? You might not know me. You probably don't. My name is Liver King. Who am I picking a fight with? Joe Rogan. It started. It's not over. I'm wearing an ankle bracelet. They just put me on this one. Yeah, they said that you had an ankle bracelet. They just put me on that one right there, that ankle bracelet. Yes, sir. Who did I pick a fight with? Joe Rogan.
He just said it's not over, which completely goes against what he has going on legally. He's not allowed to say that. He's not allowed to say it's not over means that he still has intention of pursuing Joe Rogan. That's going to be an issue. He's wearing an ankle bracelet, that's pretty out in the open. I don't get where this goes. He says Joe Rogan started this whole thing. Now that I slightly agree with. Now he's a podcaster. He can say whatever he wants. It's Joe Rogan, but I get it. I get what he means by that. And we'll go into that a little bit after.
I'm not going to say, give me 2 seconds because I'm not talking to you. But I said, you. I'm not going to say who that's to because that could be perceived as an additional threat. And then I guess who keeps going home. So who'd I pick a fight with? Joe Rogan. Why? Anyone want to know why? One word. One word. Family. Family. What would I do for my family? What would I do for them? For them to be received in a lesser light than what they deserve, the innocent, pure, awesome family. Some of us have family. You know how it is when you have family. You might do almost anything for your family. And then if you've watched somebody get bullied before, or if you've ever been bullied, Well, I've done that for a couple of years. I've been bullied. It doesn't feel good. And then when you are strong enough and capable enough to do something about it, like I am right now, I can do something about it. Now to sit back and watch my family continue to be received by this, and to watch a really popular, you might call him powerful for the egotistical warrior archetype that he is, lacking the king title, by the way. You thought you were invincible. You thought you could pick on a cave idiot. Me make fire, me liver king, cave idiot. Takes liar king metaphors for the man. Oh, you forgot he's a husband. That's what I am. I'm actually a real king. A real king? I actually earned that title. I earned it, and so I can call myself that. And anyone's invited to call me. I say yes to everything, but as long as you don't interrupt, and I'll give you your space and time. But in the meantime, you're welcome to come in and take pictures too. So absolutely, bro, if you want, you should come in and take pictures, and then afterwards we can do that too. But I actually earned my title, king. Right. And so what he ended up doing is he accidentally picked a fight with a real man who wasn't actually a caveman. He could string a few words together. How'd that happen? Because we could, think a little bit. And well, then what happened with the thinking? Principles, family, loyalty. Anyone here from Texas? From Texas, right? Yeah. And so that's the thing about Texas, we do things here. Do you know what Texas means? Explain. We should remember what Texas actually means. It means friendly. That's what Texas means, is friendly. And how did we get so friendly? Why would you be friendly? Why aren't we the friendliest state in the world? Because a man should be capable of catastrophe. A man should be capable of monstrosity. But what a real man does is he's sheathed. That's sheathed. That sword, that you wield it, you're capable, you got a family, you need to be able to do that for them. So the greatest state, that's what happens. And he just moved here, that guy. He just moved here. Yeah. He just moved here. And so this foreigner that just moved to the friendliest state, we're the friendliest state because we can lock it down, because we have the right to do things that other states don't have the right to do. And so if we can protect our perimeter, he probably doesn't know about this in our state. We can protect our perimeter. We have the right to do things here that other states don't have. And so I love this state. I was born on military bases, grew up on military bases in this state. Yeah. This is actually my state, where I'm from. Proud to say about how friendly all of you guys are. I can feel your energy, Yes, sir. I came here. My name is Liver King. That's a metaphor for this man. The name doesn't matter. It's the message. Liver is king. Liver king, liver king, liver king. That's the ego. Liver is king. There's one thing you can do right now to start living a better life. Learn about the ancestral lifestyle. That's good and true. That's the framework. Good and true. Not bad intentions. Good and true. I actually took, that's true, steroids, testosterone, cream, and growth. All that's true. And so what he ended up doing, because he measured himself against another man, he was already in a losing game. For sure. So then he measured himself accidentally against a real king that would actually challenge him honorably to a real fight. Yes, sir. A real fight. And what I'm fighting for is my family. I'm fighting for principles. I'm fighting for, if you know what it feels like to get bullied, that sucks. If you know what it feels like when you watch somebody get bullied and you could do something about it, and you can, shame on you too.
Now, what he's talking about when he says this, he is talking about the fact that in his life, he was bullied. He revealed this on the Patrick Bet-David show about 2.5 years ago, where he revealed that he was severely bullied when he was younger because he was very small. He was like a small guy, very short, and people would push him around. It was before he was jacked and everything. So I guess what happened is that he became this huge personality. First off, he became jacked. Then he took it a step further. He became jacked and rich. Then he took it a step further, became jacked, rich, and famous. And then Rogan kind of, in the world of fame, Rogan is like the jock. He's the jock. He's the guy that's hanging out with the military guys. He's jacked, this, that. He's rich, becomes richer, and then starts putting the Liver King through what he's already been through, which is laughing at him, laughing at his apology video, completely. And again, I'm going to try and find a clip of Joe Rogan saying this, but Joe Rogan denied him the podcast. When he first had his apology tour that he was doing, that was the one place he wanted to go. And Rogan said no. And he even talked about how he said no. He said, this is dumb. What are we doing? He's like, you just want to say more of what you're saying in this apology video. So he really discarded him. And I guess this is making Brian Johnson, the Liver King, feel like he's back in that time where he was getting pushed around. That's, psychologically, I see what's going on here. And I will add just, actually, let's just keep going.
Because I've done that before, and that sucks. I regretted that. I said I would never do that again.
Yes, sir.
So my family is now being bullied, received for less than who they are. I can't say the name, but I said it earlier. So let me just not say it again. You think you're above reproach. You thought that. You've been getting away with it. Then another real king who, what would I ever gain to fight with another man? Kings don't fight with men. We don't have anything to gain. What kings do is like alliances we build with other kings to serve our people, a greater good. That's pretty up because we got everything locked up otherwise that we need. I have a beautiful family. I love my life. To come stay at a hotel here to pick a fight, I actually was insatiable. To relegate myself back down for a savage fight and to be ready for it. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm a pretend black belt. Pretend. I was praying to God he would just choke me out. Because if you wake up from a choke out, everyone knows it's like a dream come true. It feels awesome. And then if you could just try and get me to tap with any other limb, well, I was fighting for my family. I was. So those limbs, I know how useless they can be. I have one eye. My intestines are shattered. I do enemas every day to take. I have to lay down on the ground with the fetal position with my legs to the left to actually go to the bathroom. And I'm ready to fight for my family. Another man who thought that he could bully another man. That's fine. You can bully another man. That's still not okay. But this man, fine. But then it was my family. Yeah. Now my family's received a less. And so I'm just trying to share with this great place here. You might not know who I am, but my name is Liver King. I am picking a real fight. It's with, can y'all say it?
Joe Rogan.
Okay, let's start over. So here's the thing. You might not know who I am. My name is Liver King. Yeah. I'm picking a fight.
He started over again? Jeez. I love how he's instructing everybody on what to do. So he's, at the same, if not for this and all the weird tactics, he's a squared away guy. I mean, not mentally right now, but for what he tries to stand for, take away everything that's happened to him. If he just came on the scene, just jacked, just admitting his use of whatever he uses and just said, this is what I do and this is how I live a better life and I'm a father and a husband, he would do well. He wouldn't do as well because people who just focus on, nuclear family and, husbandry and fatherhood, they're not received in a spectacular lights because they're not focused on materialism. But, you could really take some of what he says as, things that you could live by.
Anybody know who it's with? Anybody? It's one word. Anybody know why?
Family.
That's why. And so I'm on my way out because what ends up happening is the terroristic threat division has a subtask about violent crimes. They come to get me with my family because there's a box. And did anyone see the box that I gave to him? Do you know what was in it? So no money. I wouldn't give him money. And it wasn't even for him. It was for his employees at Mothership that let me in unbeknownst to him. So the box that they called the threat on. Happy quinceañera. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Everything good and true. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. That's a real rite of passage for women that they still honor. They don't do the man one, right? It's called barbarian. That's the real one. But what ends up happening is the world thinks this is a real bomb. A real bomb. And so now you can justify to detain a man in the great state of Texas without telling him he's arrested or reading him his rights in front of his family. That's what can happen. When you know some people around here because you moved to the capital and you think you're above reproach, and then this really sucks for the great city because some things were done that weren't okay. That gives them a lot of vulnerabilities because they knew everything they were doing wasn't right. We're getting this family man, 0 record, not even a parking ticket, never been arrested, except in Poland, that was real. But never actually, here, 0 record, zero record. And then my wife is here, my boys are here, my actual sons are with me, everyone's with me, and they kind of knew. And since everyone knew what they were doing was incongruent with the truth, they did a lot of things wrong, which then left our city extremely vulnerable from a legality standpoint. And I'm going to say this right now, I would never sue my city or my state, ever. But Joe Rogan put them at risk by calling in a favor. They did many things wrong. They never even said you're arrested. They just arrested me. They just detained me. And it's okay with the rights. But you know, when they read your rights right before the end, they say, you have the right to terminate this interview at any time. All the others are self-explanatory. And so I said, do you have any questions? And I said, I do. I didn't really come here. I'm not looking for an interview. I don't need information about you. I'd like to go back to my family. I got something else I'd like to do. Seems like you want an interview. If you have utility to share with me, you should do it right now. But the last one was, I have the right to terminate this interview at any time. What happens if I do that? What happens if I do that? He says, then you go straight to jail. And I said, okay, then this interview is terminated. You should put me straight in jail. Right. And so that ends up happening, and that's the gift that I got, is like novelty and new experience. I was in an actual...
Now, I wonder, is there anyone who can explain that to me? Because in a sense, that sounds a little messed up. They didn't say anything to him. It sounds like he's trying, but he's being very odd with his choice of words, but it sounds like they didn't read him his Miranda rights. They didn't tell him he was arrested. Then he said he terminates the interview. He goes straight to jail. All sounds like he's saying Joe Rogan called in a favor. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't think he called in a favor. I think Joe Rogan has a pretty big security detail. And I think if Joe Rogan has if he's like, oh, this guy's threatening me, I think we're out of the realm for Joe Rogan where he's just a guy who makes decisions. Like, sure, he talks about that being how he does things on the podcast. Sure. But when it comes to his everyday life, if you put a security team in charge of your security, they probably come to you and say, so the whole Liver King thing, yeah, it's gotten worse. He's actually in Texas. So we don't want you to leave here. We know where your family is. We want them to stay where they are. And we're just going to secure the situation. And then we'll let you know when that's done. Is that okay with you? That's probably how it works. I mean, he has a security detail of like 20 people. It's pretty big. And they're pretty lethal if they need to be. So I doubt that they just called in a favor. They probably communicated with Austin PD, with Travis County, and they're probably like, hey, we have this issue going on. We know where this guy is. We need you guys to take him in. Maybe that's the situation, and maybe Rogan went through the steps of, restraining order, everything he had to do. And I don't know. This whole thing is wild.
A real prison. In Poland, a USSR type underground, everything concrete, metal, and real man, Polish. The hell's in? And then I went to like this one, yeah, this is interesting. This one. I thought I would collect points. I'm like, okay, how much money would I have paid for this experience? I would have paid a certain amount of money for this experience, but not as much as the Poland one. Collect points. You give me a curfew. Now I have a curfew with all these charges reduced to, I can't say it, but it's supposed to be real. If it's a terroristic threat and the Violent Crimes Division task force comes to subdue you, you should probably have something worse than a felony. But then I'll just share back, it wasn't even a felony. What I left with, even less than that, very light feather, you know. And then when they find out that they called the terroristic threat division for a present, it was actually a present that got delivered to the mothership. When the charges are released and all that stuff, an apology doesn't matter. I feel sorry that someone who thought they could be a bully and get their way and shut me up, you would put a whole state at risk. But I'm a real Texan, and I'm telling you guys right now, anything they did wrong, these are just men trying to do their jobs, and they couldn't reconcile what's actually right because they have to do their jobs. Their livelihood is to provide for their family. So guys, let's do this. And then what they forgot is on the third screen, they forgot to actually take my phone also. So I had recorded everything in the interviews too. Yeah, and then I said, I'm going to post this to the internet right now in front of you unless you're going to forcefully attempt to remove it from me. And then in which case you're going to have to announce that, because if you're going to forcefully get on me for that, look at you, look at me. You know? And so he says, can I have your phone? And I said, no, thank you. And he said, could you hand me your phone? I prefer not to. He asked it 7 different ways. So then he leaves. I still have my phone, and I'm still posting. Here's the thing, I'm not going to post that to social media. I just sent that to my family. I would never compromise the state. I'm from here. So that's like, what do you call that? It's cannibalism. My state is awesome. The friendliest state. Welcome to Texas, Joe Rogan. We're the friendliest state there is. So I'm still going to say this. I said before, it's going to be love in the beginning, mosh pit in the middle, love in the end. But you didn't allow the love thing in the beginning. The mosh pit's already happening. In the end, irrespective of this thing on my ankle, now I have a curfew. Now I'm packing because the threats have escalated so much so that the calculated risk to compromise High Sword and family it's just not responsible as a man to do what's next. So I'm tucking my tail, I'm retreating. Joe Rogan gets a point, a really excellent point. You get that point. That's what you did. I'm still inviting you, Joe, after this fight, to have dinner with my family, and to get to know your family. And it's just a principle. It's hard to debate a principle that's indivisible as the principle. King time. All right, guys.
Could you imagine how awkward that dinner would be? That would be a very awkward dinner. Wow. I don't know what would happen there. I think they would actually have, I don't know, in the mindset that he's in right now, I don't know. I think they would have an interesting podcast talk. But one person in the comments, if you know who you are, then, you know, hello. But they were like, the reason Joe was so mad about it is because Joe's made all his money being authentic and real, and the Liver King made all his money lying. But the thing about it is, I mean, that is true. What that person said in the comment, you're 100% right. But also, Liver King did make some money before he was famous. That's why he was able to push everything that he was doing so much. He didn't just pop up by mistake. There was a lot of money, his own money behind him, pushing him. But I guess you are right. You know, they're yin and yang in that way, where Joe Rogan's just fully honest about, even right down to his usage of testosterone and everything that he's used. He's very open about it. And the Liver King was not open about it. So I guess they're never going to see eye to eye, you know? There's a joke there because Liver King has one eye, but yeah, man, I don't know. Let's see what they do next. I think he's just going to take pictures with these guys.
Thank you for your interview, sir.
Yeah, brother. Anyone want to, look, I don't mean to be hurt or anything. Y'all wanted to get a picture, and I'm not suggesting anyone wants to get a picture, but I'm not going to hang out because my family's waiting. If anyone wants to get a picture, let's fucking get a picture, because I'm getting out of Dodge before I get legitimately arrested again.
I just want to say what's up.
Respect, man.
My name's Ezra.
Thank you for that, dude.
Appreciate that. Yeah, oh hell yeah, brother. All right.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Guys.
Thank you.
Just for the record, there's no winner of the fight. There's no winner. There's no winner. There's an outcome, and the outcome is going to be good and true, period. You don't get to do damage to somebody else. Not good and true. We're master builders. Everyone's born a master builder or a master destroyer. The same amount of energy it takes to attempt to destroy a man is the same one to build a man. Whoa. So we're master builders, good and true framework. That's why the password for this free Wi-Fi everywhere we go, it's you, Joe Rogan.
Woo! Yeah. Thank you for your interview.
Oh, that was the password to the Wi-Fi. He had a few videos where he kept on crazily going like, I hope you ask me for the password to the Wi-Fi. No one knows what you're talking about. No one's close enough to you to get the password. And that's what he made the password. F you, Joe Rogan. Wow. So he is literally, this is his villain arc. This is it. He is now the Joker mixed with Bane, and Joe Rogan is Batman. That's just the way it is. Joe Rogan is Batman, and Jamie is his Alfred, his butler guy, you know, who like gives him all his weapons and makes sure he's all good to go. This is wild. I don't know what else is going to happen. He says he's leaving, but he also says it's not done, which maybe there'll be more charges based on that. Who knows? I mean, maybe he just violated something. I don't think he really got taken in. He's making it sound like they illegally took him in. I don't think that was the case. Honestly, he was very coherent here, but right up until he got arrested, he did not seem coherent, and maybe he doesn't remember them processing him properly, because that'd be a pretty odd misstep, especially when you have this elite security team helping you guys or coming to you guys, and then you just forget to process them properly and you just arrest them. I don't know about that. I don't know. We'll have to see. I want to try and find, and shout out to, let me just go down here. That's who reposted it. Clip von Klaus and Benny Mac. You can see it right there. Benny Mac is the creator who actually went out and got this interview. Shout out to him, man. That is a wild decision to make, to go find Liver King. You knew where he was at, everything like that. I mean, just shout out to this guy. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's see if we can just see Joe Rogan, Liver King on podcast. Because there is a point where he says, he's just like, what am I doing this for? What am I doing that for? Oh, yeah, there it is.
One of them came up to me in Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of my security guards stopped him. He's just like, I'm a producer for the Liver King. I'm like, what the f*** do you produce? What are you producing?
Like, how many UFC events did he try and kind of like cozy up?
He was front row at one of my shows in Vegas.
Oh, damn.
At the MGM. And then I saw him again at the Canelo fight. He was trying really hard to get on the podcast. And he's been trying really hard to get on now. He contacted a few friends of mine.
Yeah, he told me he's trying to get on.
Yeah, for what? For what? Say that more? Like, come on, this is dumb, man. This is you ran a con game and you got busted.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that you feel terrible. I'm sorry you feel bad, because that's just what happens when you get caught lying. One of them came up to me in Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of my security guards stopped him. He's just like, I'm a
front row at a show, sees him here, sees him there. That's actually the beginning of this whole thing, I guess. Trying to get in front of Joe Rogan, trying to get a hold of him. And then also, and someone else said this in the comment section as well, you know, that main character syndrome, where whoever the people coming up to him for pictures, this, that, and then all of a sudden he's like, hey, I want to be on your podcast. And this guy's just like, no, I don't want to do that with you. Probably hit him in his ego a little bit, to be honest. Right? And then on top of that, Rogan clearly doesn't like the Liver King. So, man, and then, we'll end it off with Brendan Schaub. He shaved his head. You guys seen Brendan lately? Moved to Austin, shaved his head, doing his podcast inside of a warehouse where he keeps his cars, apparently, like a warehouse or garage or something like that. So he's ready. He's ready. We're just waiting on a stand-up comeback. Are you guys ready for Brendan to do a stand-up comeback? I know you guys have been waiting for it. We've all been waiting for it. Am I right? I hope I see him at the mothership. Like, that would be great. Him performing there. It's not going to happen. It's not. There's actually rumor that he's like not allowed to perform at the mothership. Isn't that wild? There's a rumor saying that because he's like not good enough. I don't know. It's all up in the air. But when it comes to what he has to say here, I completely agree.
And they have Liver King. Let's say you pull off what you think you're going to do and get access to Rogan, which is never happening. But let's say you're able to get through the wall of special forces security that he has, jump the gate that he has, get through security, get through all the guns, the dog. Good luck. But let's say he has a special set of skills and he does that. And then you get face to face with a guy who's trained in Taekwondo. He's a black belt, competition black belt in Taekwondo, knocked out a million dudes, not to mention he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Again, buddy, this is how you know he's not thinking clear. You can't fight. Yeah. I know you think you're tough, but there's levels to that. And he might be a tough guy. And there's a lot of tough guys. Okay. And I know he, walks barefoot and takes laying down and does enemas and he's tough in his world. There's levels to toughness, dude. And if your goal is to get attention by fighting Rogan and to go viral, you go viral.
Yeah.
But you can go viral from getting beat the fuck up.
Yeah.
And they have Liver King.
True. Very true. Brendan Schaub, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes he drops that wisdom. He drops that wisdom every now and then. Have you seen the amount of videos just hating on Brendan? Have you seen them? It's pretty crazy, actually. It always surprises me. I like him. I like listening to him podcast. I think he's good. With so many people, like the videos that get put out are hilarious. One guy, unique, like me with Rogan, he's just constantly. But you guys know I love Rogan. There's a guy like unique on YouTube. He hates Brendan and he just makes video. Brendan sued him and lost the lawsuit. There's just so much. I'm actually going to do a Brendan video after this because apparently he's getting. I don't know about this. I'm actually going to look into it a little more, but there's some kind of case going on. But yeah, man, that's what's going on with the Liver King. The Liver King has done his interview. Hopefully nothing happens to him, honestly. I just hope that the guy gets help. That's what I hope more than anything. Because you're rich, you're a husband, you're a father, you're in magnificent shape, and he can still lead a bunch of young men in a good way. But he has to let go of whatever this is. So just wanted to show that to you guys really quick. Anyway, I'm out.